Hi everybody, welcome back to Rustic Gears Season 4 Episode 68 with me, Sid, and we are going to do a few more things that need finishing today. We're starting off in the ore and metal room because we need to finish off in here. This is a mess. I've got ores everywhere, I've got some metal on the floor, I've still got some shelves down here which are free, so that's fine, but I've got space here for a lot more shelving, so we are going to start off by just moving all of this lot, and I'm going to get some shelving and some storage in on this wall so we can get rid of this. I may put some simple storage, maybe no, I'll just do this wall. I think this will be fine. Yeah, so first things first, I need to move all of this out of the way and put them somewhere else, which will be fine. And then I'm going to need my back box because we're going to be probably, I'm not sure, if I borrow that and that and turn it round, but then yeah, I think we can work with that. I need some blocks, packed dirt or something. Yeah, lots of odds and sods. And the other one I want to do is I started working on that little hill fort, and I want to finish that one off as well, because, or at least make some progress on it. Okay, let's have a look at dirt. Soil. That will do, and then we can make it into packed dirt, can't we? That's the ticket, right? Yeah, because obviously we'll all be well in for me, a week. We should have our VIP visitors arriving, so that is going to be important. Yeah, I need to get this done. God, I'm running out of space, hang on. And we're all, every single person on the server is rushing around like it's D-Day. It's all like, oh, I've got to get my things, I've got to do something. It's almost like the parents, it feels like parents have been away for a week, and oh, that wants to be materials. Let me just do that for now. But what I want to do is take that up one. No, not that. And then I want to put another one of those in. Boop. And boop. Yeah, as I say, it's like parents have been away on holiday and we're cleaning up before they get back. It's quite, I say it's quite funny, but at the same time I can't say anything because look what I'm doing. I'm doing the same. Right, so we'll take out this lot. And that bar there. And then we'll flip all of those. Grab that, tube up like this, see, this is going to be weird because there's going to be nothing in that spot, but that's fine. I'm sure we'll work it out, because then what I would like to do is take out, we'll just do it like this, I think. that. Actually, I don't need to do that. Just do this. And no. Take that down, like so. Then copy that up to the top. Does that make sense? Yeah, kind of. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Right, and then we're going to do. Not sure whether to leave the. No, it makes. We'll leave the legs in. I think they do kind of work. Like a so. Actually, we'll. We're going to rotate these. Rotate. That gives me that, and then we'll start there. That should do the trick. But on this one, no. That pantograph is lasting forever. Well, we'll just strip out this layer and then if I were to copy that, flip it, but merge, that will do that, which I can then quite easily gives me a reasonable starting point for the shelving, and then we can put, well, let's start off with some racks on there. Maybe up here we can do some racks or something, and then we can get a few chests on, and I think that should do us. We then just need to put on, yeah, I don't know whether we need them, yeah, that one, business bronze, zinc and tin. I've got 4 ingots there, I've got 3 spaces, so I think we just need a generic mixed bag of, in fact I may even, oh, what happened there? I've got a feeling that that should be a bit like that. Put you back on there and I can't accidentally flip those. Right, yeah, I can do a mixed pile, I think. Perhaps. Need a decorative chest as well. They're just standard, aren't they? Yes. So, right, let me just sort this out and I'll be back in a second. Alright, that is one job done. Nice, quick and simple. There's a heavy storm incoming. I'm going to probably skip out and let Ram sleep that one away. But we've got all of these. I just put these in. No chests up there, but there is the ingots. I didn't do a mixed one. I'd left that as tin. And we've got these 2 chests here, which, you know, are a thing, and then we've got all of the moulds up there, so that just tidies this up, gives us a wall there if I want to put more tool racks or anything out. Probably not. I suppose the other thing I need to think about is I need a charcoal kiln, because I am getting low on that. So that's something I need, and I'm probably going to need a cementation furnace at some point. Now I think I could get away with both of those in here, because if we were to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I was to go here, that could be my charcoal kiln in this section, and then we could have the cementation furnace back here built into the walls. So that's a possibility. I'm going to need to go down that route at some point, just so I've got one. But other than that, I think I just need to do a few bits and pieces around the place. So I'm going to just make a few little things around here before we head out to the village, and I'll be back with you, well, in a bit. Alright, it's sometime on in the day. I recorded the last bit in the morning, and now we're in the evening, and we are over here at the old hill fort, which actually still needs quite a lot more work than I thought it did. This really hasn't been, it's quite bland. So we need to do that. We've got this little building here, that building there, and that building there all need to be brought back to life. This needs then some, as I say, just some activity. I may go and try get some. I've got chickens. I can put some of my Generation 9 chickens in the actual fort. Maybe put a little chicken coop in, that kind of stuff. But first things first, we need to get these walls back up on this one, and I also need to slow down. I need to get my build box out, well, my back box, and get this down, because this has got all of the build materials in it that I have brought with me for this, which is basically a lot of thatch at the moment, some ropes, a bit of that. I don't think there's much else in here now. I think this should be largely empty. We've got all of our runes, but that's about it. So, first things first, let me see about a shape here. So we need to clear out all of the rubble, work out what shape these foundations are, and get them restored to, you know, a little bit of their former glory. And that will make life a lot easier, I'm sure, once we know what we're dealing with. Now, that's a fireplace, isn't it? So I think it kind of this looks like it was perhaps a little towery bit, maybe. Difficult to tell sometimes, because the guys who design ruins are pretty good at it. Hello. But I would say that that's largely that one cleared. We're going to need more building materials, that much is certain. But I'm starting to get a feel for the shape here. You know what, I might as well get these while I'm doing it, because I'll undoubtedly run out of thatch at some point. So having this won't hurt, will it? A lot easier to see what's going on when you do that. Now I don't know where. If I were building a house and I had a gate here, the door wouldn't be there. It would, well, probably go round and then would have the path go round, wouldn't we? Let me see about some more building materials then. But it's not a lot we're short of them, so yeah, I'm going to harvest a little bit of this up, and it's actually easier to work on this level, you know. But let me get enough to make a few. Wow, that goes down quite a way as well, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Okay, that's handy. Yeah, easier to work with this, I think. Than above. Right, we'll go with that for now. So that should give me, I think, a number of block options to double or single door. I think a peasant hovel would only have a single, and I think we will assume that this is that shape and that goes there. So that feels doable. Missed those. So I suppose the first thing is to work out single or dual story. I think dual story. Maybe some wattle and daub on the top. But we'll take this 4 high. I think 4 high works better than 3 high. Like a so. What do we think? Oh, I've already got roosters in the area, so that'll make life easy. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I've got some building to do here, and then the other thing we need to do is obviously get over here and work on this build, which is going to have similar issues, I'm sure. And then there's also the build on the inside, which is clear, I think, but we'll need a little bit of help to get to the point where we can really decide what we're doing with it. Let me get these cleared. I'll take the opportunities to, you know, develop these shapes further, and I'll be back in a mo. Alright, going out, not being out, but going out gathering some materials, because we're going to need, we're going to need wattle and daub now. It's always the wattle and daub, that's always the bit that catches us out. Right, so I've scouted the local area and I have picked up several stacks of red clay, several stacks of conglomerate sand, and conglomerate sand is used to make golden brown daub, which will make golden brown wattle and daub. So we do need the wattle fences, which is going to be a lot of sticks and a knife, and we're going to need a lot of dry grass. Now I don't think, well, I don't, okay, so I don't think, I know I don't have a scythe with me, so I can either go and get a scythe and do it that way. I don't think there's a lot. Let me just double check what I have got in here. Now that's thatch, not thing, so that's not going to play nicely. How much I need, however, that is in itself an interesting question. So, do I have shears? May even have a saturday. Thinking about it, there's always a possibility that I could have a scythe, but oh yes, there. So we can do both. I can come and shear a tree or 5 from over there. Again, you don't poop on your own doorstep, and that goes for building technique as well. So we can basically take out all of this lot, chop down this oak tree, and life will be good and happy. We'll get a lot of leaves off of this. This is where the angel belt, and this is where I kind of get in two minds about the angel belt. The angel belt for travelling and exploring is OP. I acknowledge that. But for building and such as resource gathering, when you want to get large quantities of stuff to build, because we're building bigger than I would sit there and say that most of what we build on the Rusty Gears server is probably outside of the realms of survival. In fact, I know QP did a stream the other day on the server, and his title, which I'm sure was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but was, is this even survival anymore? And I get it, actually. There is a question of, is this even survival anymore? Because, you really have to go out of your way to starve to death. Although, in my experience, that's true of Vintage Story period, unless you're doing a particularly difficult environment like the Arctic or something like that. And we're building certainly way bigger than more complicated structures than we can in vanilla, and that's fine. This is, that is actually the design of the playstyle that we like. So yeah, I do question the angel belt. It's an interesting one. I still think it would be best if we had an angel belt that was powered by temporal gears, for example. So one temporal gear gives you several hours of flight, or days, even weeks. Doesn't really matter, as long as there is a cost, and the cost requires you to keep fuel and keep getting fuel. It's it would be interesting. But anyway, yeah, let me continue grabbing all the stickage, and then I'll chop this tree down, because I hate leaving trees in a state of undress like this. And I'll be back in a moment. Alright, we've got a whole load of grass, we've got sand, we've got dirt, we've got clay, I've got a whole load of wood. What we've got now is this structure here. So this is an odd one, because I actually want to, well, let's see, I'd like you to kind of come across. So are you going to go overhang like that? I think we'll overhang like that. Or do I actually want to overhang there? Let me work this out. Because I'd like that fireplace to not be part of the wattle and daub. In fact, we probably even will break out those. That will come up here and be part of this. I'll need a block or something for that, but that's fine. It's not like we ain't got plenty of those. But that, you see, that kind of feels right on that edge. And then we can, from there we go I don't like that shape. Don't like that shape at all. No, it's got to be that. And then maybe we do this. Hang on, what happened there? Like that. You know what, this is just going to be weird. I think we have to accept that this is going to be a weird structure. Let's go and try something a little bit more traditional, shall we? Like this one. That one's going to just be 1 story high, because I think it'll drown out that if we put it in, you know, a 2nd story on that, that could just be like a little storage shed or something. But this, well, I still needed a block, didn't I? Anyway, so I do need a block or 2 still from the hoofer. But I think this will do the trick nicely. Gran was on earlier. I haven't seen her on this evening yet, but Chaos just recently released a video of his new build area, so if you're not following Chaos, his like all of the gears, his details are in the description, so you know, he's really excited to be back making content, and I know to get what it means. When you have a break, it can be quite disturbing not making content. It becomes a part of life. Holidays for me are always entertaining, because I have that kind of feeling that I should be doing something, and it's stupid. It's a self-imposed thing. I'm not one of these people that thinks if you're a content creator, that's what you live and breathe. Although I do think if you are a professional YouTuber, you should treat it in some respects, or at least a full-time let's use the word full-time YouTuber. If you are a full-time YouTuber, there's an element of, oh hello, what happened there? How do I put this? My job requires me to work 36.25 hours a week. There's kind of there's 2 standards in British jobs. One is about 37.5, and the other, for some reason, mine is 36.25. I don't understand exactly why. It just comes down to our terms of service, and I know some countries in America, you might find those hours quite low, but that's fairly normal here. And if I were doing this full time as a job, then I would treat it as a job, and I would give it the 36.25 hours a week. I mean, to be fair, I probably do anyway, but outside of my routine job. You're doing it because you love it, not because you're contractually obligated to do it, if you like. But when you get professional content creators who vanish for weeks or months at a time, and in a lot of cases without even really telling anybody that they're going to vanish for weeks at a time, that kind of sticks in me a little bit. It doubly so if that person is reliant, maybe not the right word, if that person is taking Patreon payments. I think you've got an obligation now to the people who are paying you your Patreon income to provide the content that they subscribed and paying for. Patreon to me is you're paying for a service. It can be a bit annoying finding when you get that kind of thing. I don't think this is going to work very well, I'll be honest. But let's just pop a block in there. And we'll also go and we'll finish off that missing block there. Although we're going to put windows in. Actually, there's quite a lot of missing blocks, so that's fine. We'll stick one of those there, bit of that there, and we'll address the chimney, later. But this is going to be weird, I think. I think I'm going to try and make this one stick just to 3 high. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I think 3 high. Just because of the weirdness of this structure in the first place. So yeah, I think if you're taking Patreon, you have a service, and if you stop providing that service, you pause Patreon payments. That's how it should go. In my personal opinion, I concede. My opinion could be wrong, but each entitled to their own. Oh, come on, you're so close. That will do. Yeah, this is going to be one weird structure. Right, let's wattle and daubs. Let's get some wattle and daub going, shall we? We'll just pop that away and that away. Grab one of those, one of those, one of those, and one of those. And I think it's usually like... No. Okay, let me just... Dirt, sand, grass, clay. No, dirt, sand, grass, clay. And then there's a whole load of the wattle and daub. So now we can go and do this. Now, I kind of do it this way. It was interesting that a few people commented on the difference between the way how I do this and how Gran would do this. Gran pre-makes the shapes, breaks them and then places them. I'm kind of doing them in situ. I suppose it just makes sense to me to do it this way. But yeah, there isn't a right or wrong way, it's just different ways. So let me quickly daub these up. If we can get a roof on, that's going to be interesting with this as well, isn't it? Oh my god, what am I doing to myself? And I'll be back in a moment. I have to wonder, whether it's possible to optimally lay out some terrain to make this process more streamlined. I mean, you're never going to make farming this easy, but I wonder if you were, because this does like a 2x3. So if I come down here, for example, and do this, look, it kind of imperfectly does this area here. So I wonder whether it's possible to lay out a 3x3 strip that's nice and flat with maybe, just stone edges. And then you can just go up and down and let the stuff grow back in. Might be worthwhile, because it's somewhat painful doing this. But we've got a little bit more, so let us go back and make that stuff. I broke out the inside corners of those because they were taking up too much of the interior space, so that was a little bit more, makes more sense. I use the word loosely. I don't think any of it makes particular sense, but so we go sand, dirt, sand, clay, grass, bang, yeah, there we go. And then we can grab another batch. And I've got enough for one more batch and a bit, but that will hopefully be enough. We've added the gable ends to this. We're going to need a little bit to add the variety to the plaster, to the daub even. But you know, this is fine. Uses considerably less to do that as well. That's always worth noting. You don't need, it's 10 per for each block, but the detail level is only 2s and 1s, I think, off the top of my head, which makes a lot of difference. So we'll be breaking some of these blocks out for windows, so but we're not going to have enough with this batch, that much is for certain, because it's almost gone. And there we go. But the next batch will most definitely finish that off and give me enough, I think, to detail that. So yeah, I'll get that done back in a sec. Right, and then on with the roof. Whether I'll have even close to enough is questionable, which means more gathering over this time of tulle. I've got a little bit of thatch left. I think that other roof is going to be the more challenging shape. This is fairly straightforward. Especially seeing as we ended up with an even number, which is great for this style of roof. It can be a bit of a pain for other styles. But definitely do feel like this is starting to feel like a settlement and not a ruin. But we'll see how we go, because I'm gonna, yeah, we're definitely, I think we're almost certainly going to need more thatch. Damn it. Ooh. Not least of which because I need to do something with that over there, look. I don't know what I'm going to do there. Because I don't know whether it's, I think it is square, isn't it? 4 and 3. No, it's not square, it's rectangular. Doesn't matter. We'll work it out. I'm more interested in getting these bits done today. We may not get the decorating done. We'll see. However, I do need to go and grab myself another stash of blocks, because we are going to need a gable end on that, on this bit here. And we're going to need more blocks for the chimney actually, so I'm going to have to go back and get yet more. However, we can, oh good grief, we can do that. Yeah, this is a really strange structure. I'm still not sure whether I like it or not, but you know what? Maybe it'll grow on me. Or maybe it won't. Maybe I'll hate it forever. Don't think I'll tear it down though. I think it'll be, unless it is really, really terrible, at which point I may have to consider doing that. So you see, I think I'm going to need some outer corners, but that doesn't go that way. Okay. Some inner corners even. That's like that. I'm going to need inner corners there. That's going to go like that. And these pretty much there. Don't hate it. I'm not 100% certain on it yet, but I'm not hating. I think I've got more thatch in here. I have. So inner corners are like is it 2 per? Okay, we're going to have to do maybe like that. I think I'm going to have to go and get more tool. And then these will go, no, like that. Maybe I make it flat at the top, I don't know. Because that is not brilliant. I've already used up what I had. Yeah, we're definitely going to need more. Well, I'll just keep on building, and I'll be back with you in a short while. Alright, that I think is going to do it for this episode. We're about 45 minutes. I've got the basics down, and I do mean the basics. This is, you know, just raw. We've got a chimney to go up there, we've got that to go up there. I need to gather more tool anyway to make thatch for that, or the other alternative is I actually get rid of this and not have this here, which would make sense given this path. This path feels like, this feels more like it was made out of the bits of this tower that fell down, so we could take that down. Get a chicken coop in here, get it decorated up a little bit more. Obviously I've planted a few bits and pieces around the place. There was a very, very small bit of a ruin just down there, and we're going to leave that to be. Just leave it be. But I am happy enough with that kind of progress. I think I'm going to take this down. I think I will do. I don't think it's necessary. Not for the kind of the story that I've got in my head, and given I need some blocks for other bits and pieces, it kind of makes sense. I have got an ambition to actually tear that down as well completely, because I don't like it on the horizon there. And all of these blocks will go into my storage system anyway and get used somewhere else at some point. And in fact, as that, I'm not sure is that what that castle's made of. That is not made, I think that may be granite. I am kind of, for a final piece, I mean obviously I've still got the nuclear missile silo, I've still got the museum, but as a final restoration project I really do fancy having a go at that castle. I just don't know whether I've left it a little bit late in the season to be at it. But that castle I really like, and I think, you know, get gates on it, put cullisers, whack a night watcher down to, you know, stop spawns. I think it could be quite awesome. I'm not entirely sure. I'm in two minds, but you know, this I might turn into a pond, because I don't think that will ever grow because we're in a desert here. Don't mind the odd little patch, but I think going forward, having more of this kind of stuff going on, then we can, doesn't really matter because the chimney isn't functional. We can then get in here, we can grab you, we can take you, pop you down, grab this, give that a little chisel. Cool. And then maybe even this down the edge. And I think I should have some decorative chimneys in my... I do. Where did you come from? There you go. You can come out. That can go away. And this can just go on the top here. Maybe we'll just grab the true chisel and just give this a little bit of a shape. Maybe not that one. Like that, perhaps. How does that look? Yeah, and then we can also take a few bites out of some of this rock, just give it just a little bit of wear and tear, perhaps. In fact, maybe just do that, just to kind of, what do we think? It doesn't, it needs windows, it needs all of the good stuff, but let's try. Oh no, that's not going to work. Let's zoom out a wee bit. Have a little. Why can't I crouch? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we've got that. That gives us a thing. We'll get some F12 on that, and we'll continue this next episode, I think. Trying to think. Yeah, we've got a couple of at least a couple of episodes. Oh wow! There's a little horde of them in there, aren't they? That was a surprise. Yeah. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you soon. And bye for now.